Hola. How did you use media technology in your construction?
So in my construction, I used media technology when filming. We used cameras to film. We also used portable lights to change the lighting in certain places if we wanted high key or low key lighting, softer focuses using the camera. We also used a wired microphone for a better sound quality when recording the poem for the narration, and also sometimes for the close-ups or certain voiceovers that we had to do for certain parts. We also used it with editing, as we used Final Cut Pro software to edit our entire piece. Through that, we were able to use effects, CGI if we needed to, but we didn't really. Certain transitions, like at the end when we have the main character Luca with the studio background and he's narrating the whole, the end of the poem. We have transitions of like flashbacks of Megan's character whilst he's speaking.
How did you use new media technology in your research?
We used the internet to research into short films and the genre that we were planning to have. Genre conventions, also camera work conventions that came with that genre. So for example, I found out that dramas usually use a lot of close-ups and unusual shots of stuff. Also, I used another way I used the media technology when planning and research was my blog, where I stored everything, all the information, all the stuff that I found out. I put it in my blog in individual posts, so there are endless posts at this point. Enjoy going through that. Back in the day, when we had to write everything down, it's much easier having to just blog it, because one, it's easy to save, it's quicker, so more time efficient, because you just have to type it out, and you make less errors because it just automatically corrects it for you. So that's an advantage of the internet.
How did you use media technology in your planning?
In planning, we used, first we started off doing a rough sketch of our storyboard on paper, and after this we moved on to creating an animated storyboard on Final Cut Pro using the sketches as pictures, but also timing each shot and each frame exactly. As well as this, we used the background music that we were going to use in the actual piece and any sound effects, so that we had more of an overall clear idea of what a short film would look like and would turn out to be like at the end. Additionally, we used Word documents to plan things like shooting schedules, health and safety sheets, and also to write up our script. We were going to do that in some script editing software thing, but we found it easier and more convenient to do it in Google Docs actually, because that way we could all work on it at the same time, and we could see each other's like changes, which is quite useful. Lastly, we used obviously our phones. I used my phone to take pictures of the location when it came to planning where we were going to actually film certain shots. For example, I went to Wanstead Park, which is also part of Epping Forest, and I took pictures of possible places where we could film in there. Also, we went to the coffee shop in Wanstead High Street where we filmed later on, and I took pictures of that to have an idea of what kind of props we needed to take. For example, we realised that the lighting was too dim in there, so we had to take our own portable light, which facilitated things at the end. And to make plans to as a group for when to shoot or when to do some research or finish the planning together, we used a group chat in WhatsApp.
And finally, how did you use new media technology in your evaluation stages?
For my evaluation, I used Photoshop to create my final film review. This was obviously done after shooting and completing the editing for a short film. We had to make a review based on the Little White Lies magazine reviews that they have. So quite professional, quite jam-packed with media terminology and kind of aimed at a very niche market. The reason for using Photoshop was because it has a wider selection of tools as well as a wide selection of effects rather than using paint, which is quite basic. It also allowed me to make loads of changes that other software wouldn't have allowed me to. I think it looks pretty good. Also, I made a film poster, which looks really good too.
R.I.P. me. What advantages are there to new media technology?
Some advantages of using modern media technology to create a short film includes the fact that it facilitates things like research, because we can use the internet now to find things out rather than having to go and look for it in a book or an article or something like that. Also, it's the fact that we have smaller devices such as smaller cameras and more portable filming equipment, which again facilitates things for us. Fine. It also was easier to communicate with certain people from across the world. So, for example, when we had to ask for permission to use Neil Hilbin's poem OCD, which is what essentially we narrated over the short film. And that was really easy because we just sent him a message on Facebook and he instantly replied approving that we could use it, so that was good. Lastly, as I mentioned earlier, thanks to our phones, it was much easier to communicate within the group. So anything that needed to get done last minute or we hadn't completed or we struggled with, we just communicated with each other over our phones. Also meeting up was easier, arranging that, because then you can just schedule it to your timetable or calendar, and it comes up with a reminder just in case or something like that. So,
what disadvantages are there to new media technology?
Some disadvantages include the fact that it's expensive. For example, purchasing software like Final Cut Pro will be expensive. Not for me because the school provides it, but for the school. But like buying cameras, any filming equipment is all quite expensive because of the fact that it uses developed modern technology. So like smaller cameras equal more money and better quality. It's also time consuming, having to learn and navigate through like software like Photoshop or Final Cut Pro. It took me a while, but it was thanks to Ella's booklet that she provided, our technician, that it was easier to navigate. But once you get the gist of it, it's fine. And another thing I found is that it takes a long time to edit. You could easily sit here and edit for 2 hours and not even realise you've been sitting here for 2 hours. So, for the industry, a huge disadvantage of modern technology will be the internet, because through the internet there is a lot of the biggest threat is pirating. You know, people illegally downloading films or content that essentially takes away from the profit that the maker produces. Also, competition. Thanks to the internet, everyone can easily put up their pieces, their short films, any kind of works that they have, and that means that the competition increases. So it's harder to kind of make it into the film industry. Overall, I think that media technology, such as the internet and this kind of software like Final Cut Pro and Photoshop, does indeed just facilitate things for all of us, rather than having to sit there and film, you know, your entire film in actual film, having to sit there and cut it and then put it back together. It's just easier to do it online. So yeah, thanks modern media technology, you're great.
Hey. I finished my vlog too.
A day in the life of a media student.
Hi, welcome to Gina's question 4 on how to use media technologies in construction, planning, research, and evaluation stages.
Hi.
Which one's the question?
Filming. So, for example, we used cameras, and that is technology.
Why?
This is how we spend our days.
This was the smoothest thing. Pretty much.
Media student in their true habitat. Careful, they bite.
You should take your daisy chain out your hair.
I don't know. Thanks.
That's it.
Okay.